On the U.S. National Security Energy Act of 1992, which says any alternate fuel source retrofitted to an internal combustion engine must be oxygenated. We use the oxygen from the water. We're the only technology in the world that has that capabilities now. We got the UN to announce very recently to the world, stop running all internal combustion engine off of fossil fuels and do it absolutely immediately because of the acceleration of the greenhouse effect that's now taking place. Now, all of these nice, beautiful chemical oxides that's been put in the air by the burning of fossil fuels, we now, as we're running the engine on water, and the byproduct is water mist, those chemical oxides going through the engine can go through what we call an air reclaimer, and since those gas molecular structures are held together by an electrical attraction force, we now can simply pull them apart and take it right back to the natural state and release and to reverse the process that's been ongoing. Now, the water can be slightly de-energized. Fortunately for us, if you allow, if there is a slight de-energizing the water molecule, the question was under EPA, are we swapping one environmental catastrophe for another? Are we going to have a lot of flat water around? The answer is no, because once you allow the water mist to be exposed to the sun, it will absorb photon energy and bring it up to its original energy level. So basically, the technology is a solar device. Now, since we're only using photon energy from the sun, are we taking anything out of the environment? No. All we're doing is taking the solar energy that's coming in from the sun and maintain the power, the industrial base of the world. In a way, we can use the universal energy or zero-point energy to amplify it. Now, NASA is looking at this technology for deep space exploration, because basically what happens to the water molecule, you can take the water molecule in electrical stress, release its gases, hydrogen and oxygen, ignite the gases to create thermal explosive energy, reignite the water molecule, cool it down, use the space of the heat sink, bring it right back through in a recycling system and keep flexing the water molecule to keep tapping into this energy source. And therefore we have a fantastic economic energy source for deep space exploration, as well as now have a fuel source capable for space station operations. We are in industrial contracting right now. We've opened the doors to industry. We've legalized the technology under 35 U.S. Code 101. If there's any question of operability under that code in the U.S. Patent Office, come on in, gentlemen, we want to see it. If you demonstrate it successfully, you get your patents. And I've always recommended all the inventors, please do not try to get a patent on an over-unity device at this stage of the game. However, the German Vacuum Field Association under Dr. Nieper has confirmed, tested over unity of this technology. The Russians and the Ukrainians have confirmed. There's people in Japan that's confirmed, and others have confirmed over unity of this technology. And so we now have it confirmed by the scientific community. Now I believe it will go political. We can demonstrate the technology, we can say it's here, but in actuality it will not be Stan Myers to bring it in. It will be either you or I, the guy down the street, that will come together to bring it in. Otherwise, I do not believe that an alternate energy source, whether water fuel cell or other, would ever come in. It's going to have to be mandated by the people to try to reverse the environmental problem, the environmental damage that's actually occurring. But we are in industrial contracting. The technology led us to the development of the ASER technology, where we take the hydrogen atom, put it in a vacuum similar to that of a laser. We now cause and oscillate the hydrogen atom under enormous electrical stress of potential, and oscillate it, and potentially the ASER is the most potentially the most powerful laser weapon that will ever be developed by man at this particular stage. But we use it in reference to heating, or being able to use it as an element to cut metal or what have you. The internal combustion engine or jet engine could care less whether it's run on aviation fuel or water. Electronically, we adjust the burn rate to co-equal that at the temperatures inside the combustion chamber of the jet engine, and we can literally run a jet engine and do it off of water. It's only a matter, the technology allows us now to scale it to any size to release the energy. And the technology lends itself to your rocket engines. Any questions? Yes. Thank you. Question?
If you start with a gallon of water, and as you were saying with NASA rocket engine in space,
Right.
How much more do you end up with at the end of all the burn? say you burn a gallon of water, what are you going to do?
In all of our tests is exactly the same. All you're doing is putting electrical stress across the combustible gas atoms. You're oscillating it, okay? You're taking it to a very high potential of oscillation. You're releasing its energy, but you are not destroying the atomic structure. Therefore, you have no loss.
So essentially what you're saying, then this could be a closed loop system where you feed the water back in and you recycle it. You use the sun and photon rebalance it.
That's correct. In other words, instead of allowing the water mist just to go out the exhaust, you could take a clear plastic tube or a glass tube and take the exhaust, expose it to the sun because the absorption is quite instant, and take it back and run it through and use a closed loop system. Yes?
If we have production for car retrofit?
Well, we're in about 5 different major projects right now. One is what we call a heat resonator for Europe. That's 90% completed. And what we're doing is what's called a proof of concept, that we come up with the engineering standard to determine that we have reached the operational parameters or specs of the unit, and then we convert it into mass production. The retrofit kit for the water fuel injectors for transportation, that's about 90-95% completed in its manufacturing standard. And so it would be roughly about a year and a half to 2 years, bar that there is no form of opposition. Now, when I started on the technology, I didn't have one white hair in my head. Okay? Now, I'm writing a book about it. Its title is With the Lord His Purpose, to talk about my faith walk. I'm really on volume 38, and I'll probably be on volume 52 before it's completed, that we can get it out the door. So, yes?
Stan, I have an email that I mentioned over years ago.
Yes, no, I do remember you.
I was very impressed with the demonstration you showed me the plexiglass cell. And I just want to say this. We were not able to measure the input power. Now I am the editor-in-chief of a magazine called Infinite Energy, which you've probably seen. I'll be delighted to have my own laboratory and my associates connections with many small companies, large companies, Air Force scientists, you name it. We can get your technology certified. We'll put it on the cover of the magazine. We'll write up everything. If you'll just do one thing, just let us test it. Will you allow us to test it? We'll prove to the world, I guarantee you, that if you have a device that has energy in your gas that is greater than the electric energy you're put in, everyone who reads our magazine in 36 countries, very top scientists, very big companies, will absolutely accept it.
Okay, I'll answer it in this way. There are many loopholes in both the U.S. patent law and the international patent laws. And under the international patent laws, that if you release any of your work out in the public domain, you can receive a statutory blockage in receiving your patents. Now, it's one thing to get patents on processes that we're talking about. Now, when you get patents on processes and you reduce it down to practice, then it's the way and how that you reduce your technology down to practice. And many times inventors and entrepreneurs violate their design development rights on the system. So in this particular case, many governmental and university laboratories have confirmed the viability of the water fuel cell technology. So it has been confirmed in many different testing. Now,
where are the numbers? That's what I want to see. I want to see a professor or an engineer with numbers of, we don't need to get inside the box. All we need is, this is the input power tested by meter X. This is the
I understand.
EW research, right here, this man, David Wallman, very open, worked with us, published his data. He has a process that looks like it's every unit. It looks
Yeah,
like
what?
no problem. He's got patent coverage.
Yeah, I understand, but I'm not willing to violate my development rights to reduce it down to practice. Now, I'll give you one more second on it. In your reducing down to practice, you must assure that you have the design development rights. In this particular case, it was very important that we would maintain all full systems development rights to get the technology into the marketplace. So in this, our scientific world is doing a great deal of testing as to the viability of the technology, allow them to proceed on to make their determination as to converting the water into thermal explosive energy under the conditions that we do. Now, we have a policy in our development that we do not release any system As we release it out into the public domain, then you can do all the testing you so desire. The industrial contracting we have, we respect their confidentiality as they have come into the projects to protect their investments in order to take this technology and translate it into a finished product. Yes?
Have you done the model or models for the conversion, let's say there are 150 million automobiles in the United States, of the water cycle? Let's say they were all running on water tomorrow. That amount of water vapor in the air, have you done any modeling as to how that might alter the weather patterns or how we might see these huge clouds coming up because of the change in the amount of water vapor?
Well, so far the model testing that we have shows that you'll get a more even distribution of the water mist around the world. It will not collect in one particular area. On a cool day, as the superheated steam comes out of the exhaust, it would just simply cool down, and the roadway would be just a little bit of moisture. But they look at it today as quite a stabilizing element for distribution of moisture all over the world. Any other question?
The questions in the hall.
Crossman, go ahead.
How soon will you have something that we can all see?
Well, some of our industrial projects as much as 90% completed. So it takes how long, the question is how fast industry will convert to finished product. Right now, industry, with their funding, they're moving extremely fast. They're moving faster than I even anticipated. So we're looking that we should have some units out the doors on the principle within the year, within a year and a half, possibly 2 years, if all goes well and no one interferes. Thank you very much.